Welcome back, adventurers, once again to Let's Play ChäoS. In the last episode, Takumi and Rimi left Shibuya Academy together, and they ventured through the streets back to this nice little park area, which is again one of the first times that Takumi has returned to this spot ever since his encounter with Yua Kusunoki, well over a month ago by now. But when Takumi mentioned that Fez was a wielder of an actual D-sword, she had a very surprised expression on her face. Of course, she did manage to brush it off as pondering to Takumi whether or not she actually had an actual medieval sword as opposed to the cheap replica that Takumi has. But still, there are many mysteries to the Pandora's box that is Rimi Sakihata. And on that subject, Takumi is now plunging headfirst into the theories that both Senna and Ayase have been telling him about. And that he too might have the power to project delusions into reality. I didn't have a scrap of proof of it for it myself, but I tried mentioning one of my ideas.
だから将軍に狙われてる気がする。
And of course, I think this is the first time in which Takumi has mentioned Shogun by name to Rimi, because there was no other reason for him to target me. Not many people out there were as harmless to others as me. Otaku are fundamentally harmless, since they shut themselves up in their own world. If they've got the free time to cause trouble for 3D characters, they'd rather play around with cute Moe 2D characters in their heads.
昨日調べてた特許のこと？タクはあんな装置持ってるの？
Unfortunately, no. Of course, there is one organization out there that would have such device. The infamous Nozomi Corporation. Of course, Senna managed to destroy one of the portable devices in question. Although the fact that, unbeknownst to Takumi, Nozomi has developed such a portable device is a very foreboding revelation. I shook my head.
そうじゃなくて、装置とかなくても力使えるかも。
We've seen it in two instances, one with Ayase Kishimoto, and another with none other than Rimi Sakihata herself.
タクからかってるんでしょ？
Rimi being nonchalant as usual.
あ、わかった。何かの漫画かアニメが元ネタ？
Could Takumi really be going down the wrong track, after all? I wonder. Rimi wouldn't believe me after all, but I remember doing it myself. The accident when I was in elementary school. I would mark it as the third instance. I desperately explained it to Rimi, that I might be a murderer with a guilty conscience. I knew she might abandon me once I confessed, but I couldn't stop myself from saying it. I wanted to clear away the fog of doubts in me by talking to someone. Rimi silently listened to my stuttering explanation, a complex look on her face. When she had heard me out to the end,
考えすぎだよ。
she laughed it away as if nothing had happened, which is actually the normal expected response.
そう考えてることだってタクの妄想なんだよ。わかってる？
In a nutshell, she's not wrong. course, those words were the last thing that Takumi Nishijo expected to hear from Rimi of all people. Was I thinking too much? Maybe. It'd be nice if that were the case, but there are too many odd happenings. New gen aside. But the haze in the depths of my heart refused to clear up. Indeed. Too many unaccounted happenings. And we're in a completely different location. The office smelled dusty. The second floor of an aging multi-tenant building. The wall on the far side of the floor was one large window. The light shining through made the dancing dust resemble powdery snow. The words pasted on the glass, Frisia Investigations, cast shadows on the desk closest to the window. About 20 desks were lined up with nary a gap between them. All of them were piled with precarious mountains of documents and files, forming a tableau that brought to mind a publishing company. So we're in the home space of what could very well be a private detective, as in not formally employed by the police. Kind of like a consulting detective, much like Sherlock Holmes. Most of the desk's owners were absent, leaving at most 5 to 6 people in the office. But the reason behind it was most certainly not because today was a Saturday. No, most certainly not. In proof of that, the go-to list on the whiteboard hung up beside the entrance was covered and written-in appointments. Yasuji-ban opened the door of this private investigation company a little after lunchtime. None of the workers faulted him for coming in without knocking. Ban, for his part, greeted them with "Hiya," and went straight for the stout woman glaring at her laptop at the furthest desk, the one right by the window. Probably the person in charge of this little establishment.
Oh, Momo-chan, genki?
Very light-hearted greeting from Ban there. The woman he had called Momo-chan, Frisia's company president, Katsuko Momose, made a fed-up expression, keeping a line of sight on the monitor. I think she, like Suo, is probably a little bit tired of Ban's laid-back attitude from time to time.
Ban-chan, また来たの?
As evidenced by her demeanor and tone of voice. Of course, the fact that she is a independent consultant and investigator and he is actually a proper detective.
また来ましたよっと。ニュージェネについての新ネタない。
So, Momose is pretty much one of his main contacts outside of the precinct.
たく、私は忙しいのよ。抱えてる案件がごまってあるの。
Understandable, judging by the amount of paperwork that's around here. Of course, as heavy as New Gen has been, it's not the only thing that's been happening in Shibuya, or Tokyo for that matter.
うちみたいな零細企業は土日返上で仕事しなくちゃいけないの。わかる?
Only then did Momose finally raise her head. I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong, obviously. Seeing Bang smirk, she put a hand to her forehead and shook her head a bit.
ここは警察の秘密組織でも 子会社でもないって何度も言ってるでしょうに。
They are, however, a private company.
ただで情報もらえるなんて虫のいいこと考えてるんだろうけど、ここに来てる暇があるなら自分の足で何とかなさいな公務員さん。または依頼料を払うこと。予約表はみおちゃんにもらってちょうだい。
相変わらず冷てえ社長だな、おい。
There's Barn doing his best Hades impersonation there. Though she'd spoken without pausing for breath, Barn seemed unfazed. He fanned himself aloofly. Probably not too long before he starts getting serious and down to business.
この会社立ち上げるときにはあんなに協力してやったのによ。
Is that blackmail of all things, Barn?
あら、バンちゃんも恩着せがましい人だわね。何年同じこと言い続ければ気が済むわけ？
まあ言っててくれ。じゃあ依頼料はこいつでどうかな。
What Barn ostentatiously held out to her was a plastic bag with the name of a neighborhood Japanese-style sweet stop printed on it. Tempting as it is, I don't think Mo's is that easily bribed there, Barn.
なんだ、あるなら最初から出してよ。いつも悪いわね。
Or perhaps maybe not.
みおちゃん、お茶2つ持ってきて。
After requesting this of her subordinate, Mimose, whose attitude had undergone an instant 180-degree shift, took the bag from Barn and began scrutinizing its contents. Looks like Barn is actually shrewder than I thought.
あら、栗羊羹今が旬なのよね。わかってるじゃない。バンちゃん、そんなところに突っ立ってないで座って。
Yeah, her demeanor is completely shifted.
どうも。
Smiling wryly, Barn pulled a chair over from the neighboring desk and set himself down next to Mimose. One of the female office workers brought them hot tea in paper cups.
んで、なんか新ネタあるかい？
ちょっと待ちなさいって。
Mimose neatly unwrapped the chestnut jellies, flattened the wrapping paper and laid it refolded next to her PC. And she quickly popped the first chestnut jelly in her mouth. She had a huge weakness for Japanese sweets. When Barn came here to get information, bringing some snacks with him was an absolute necessity.
おいしいわ、これ。
Probably a good idea not to speak with your mouth full there.
人に言えた義理じゃないけどよ。ちったダイエットしたらどうだい。でないといつまでたっても結婚できないぜ。
本当に人に言えた義理じゃないわね。私はもうとっくに今期は逃したわよ。
Shrugging, Mimose took a sip of tea and turned to face Barn.
また新しいニュージェネ事件起きたわね。こんなところでサボってていいの？
そっちの調査は俺以外の全員が真剣に取り組んでるさ。
I assume everyone includes Sua.
俺は別のアプローチから真実に迫ってやるってね。
かっこつけちゃって似合わないわよ。
Too true. Barn was sensitive to hot food, so he hadn't taken his tea in hand yet. The weather should have been cool enough already, but he went on flapping his fan at his face. It seemed to be more of a habit of his than anything else.
警察は G レートの線追ってるの？
Now to the matter at hand. And, following the lead of gravitational errors.
そうそう G レートね。ありゃすごいな。ももちゃんの話の通りだったぜ。
Looks like Momose was his inside source on that line of inquiry there.
私が嘘の情報を渡すわけないでしょうに。これでおまんま食べてるんだから。それで？
まあ勝手に調べてるよ。
In other words, Barn doesn't want anyone else to figure out that he's doing this investigation and wants to keep it in-house, or the fact that the precinct are completely turning their heads and looking the other way on this matter.
勝手にって。ちょっとばあちゃん！
Momose's voice carried well. She had an assertive personality to begin with, and she spoke loudly. As the Frisian employees were used to her, they didn't raise an eyebrow even when her angry shouting reverberated throughout the entire office. Their president's yelling was an everyday occurrence. Even more so, the yelling against Barn. Barn too had known Momose for ages, and with her having gone off at him dozens of times, his only reaction was to sardonically pick at his ear. Momose herself didn't particularly want anyone to listen in on this topic, so she soon lowered her voice. But as she jabbed a finger at Barn with downright dreadful force, her expression was teeming at a fury that made the way she smiled and stuffed her mouth with sweets seem like an utter lie.
個人で追うのは危険だって言ったじゃない。政治に宗教に企業、どれだけ根深く関与してると思ってるの？
Government, religion, and business, you say? Looks like Barn is getting in over his head. And it also means that there's more to this than meets the eye. Then again, we could have figured that out for ourselves.
この間テレビで G レートの講義をやった太田教授がどうなったか、あんたもよく知ってるでしょ。
Probably something not good.
ああ、貼り付けで殺された被害者だろ。何度も聞いたよ。
Now that is a interesting development. Forgive my grammar there. So the staking victim was none other than a lecturer on gravitational error rates to begin with. Which means that, again, there might be wheels within wheels, webs within webs when it comes to New Gen. The fact that such a prominent professor would be one of the New Gen victims, not to mention the fact that Barn himself had found traces of G-rate phenomena in Shibuya. It all fits.
何度でも言ってやるわ。言ってやりますとも。あんたはいつも私の忠告を無視するんだから。
Seems like Yasuji Ban likes to live on the edge, perhaps too dangerously for his own good.
それでいつも尻拭いさせられるのは私なんてたまったもんじゃないわ。
まあまあ、そうかなって。茶でも飲んで落ち着いたら。
Instead of taking her tea, Momose flung a second chestnut jelly into her mouth, breathing hard through her nose.
大丈夫だって。一応諏訪と一緒に動いてるんで。
That is probably not going to fill her with confidence, there, Barn.
今はまだ G レートやら何やらってな。突飛すぎて上を説得できねえなよ。
Either that, or they're not interested in the connection, or perhaps worst case scenario, they don't want the connection to be found out.
スワちゃんは確かに有能だし、しっかりしているけど、無理させたら承知しないわよ。
ももちゃんはいつから諏訪の保護者になったんだ？
バンちゃんの無謀な行動に未来ある若者が巻き込まれるのはかわいそうでしょうに。
Unfortunately, Ban has a knack as well as a reputation for being reckless.
そうか。
Ban shrugged and took an experimental sip of his tea, but it was still hot, making him scrunch up his face. He had to put a warning label on that.
しかしバイオリズムが人を殺す凶器になるなんてこと、本当にありえるのかね？
前に説明したでしょうに。
実はいまいち理解しきれてねえんだわ。それってももちゃんお得意の電磁波と関係してるのか
Mimose sighed, and in opposition to Ban, went on sipping her tea without any issues.
満月の夜の事件簿はよく知ってるでしょ。
まあな。
Many crimes and accidents took place on nights with full moons. Nor was this an urban legend, and it became obvious from a single glance at the police headquarters statistics.
その満月以上の力でバイオリズムカーブが上昇したらどうなると思う？
Say, for instance, a certain mechanical device manufactured by none other than Nozomi.
興奮するってことだな。
それだけ？渋谷は特殊な街なのよ。言ったでしょ。 GE レートが高ければバイオリズムカーブは上昇する。しかもその上昇値は満月の夜に影響する数値のおよそ6800倍。
なんと想像しにくい数字だな。
比べ物にならないくらいすごいって考えとけばいいわ。
しかしなんで今なんだ？
殺された太田教授が言っていたのは GE レートが半年前から急に増加しているせいってことね。
Yeah, funny that.
地層の構造に大きな変化が起きない限りそんなことはありえないそうだけど。
Of course, neither Ban nor Mimose are aware of Nozomi's connection to all this, as they haven't found their little pawns, one of which was uncovered by Sena Aoi herself a little while back. But of course, putting together the Nozomi connection will probably be a very dangerous task indeed.
そう駅前のスクランブル交差点で火山が噴火するほどのエネルギーが必要なの。
Or a means of harnessing said power by an artificial means.
火山？そんなに大きな力なのか？
それくらい今の GE レートはありえない状況なのよ。
それを世間に訴えようとした教授はニュージェネで殺された。
Indeed. And that itself is very telling.
事件の前日に教授が出演する予定だったテレビ番組が急遽放送中止になった話知ってる？
So someone probably connected to Nozomi didn't want anything getting out about G rates.
確か。
知り合いに MHK に勤めている人がいて聞かされたの。
They must have some very serious strings indeed if they can pull that far.
国営放送の番組に圧力かけられる立場なんてそうそうないぜ。
I think Ban is starting to realize the gravity of his situation.
私も詳細についてはわからないわ。知ってたらとっくに告発してるだろうし。
Intrigued, Ban leaned forward.
俺でも大体予想はつくさ。この際はっきり言っちゃってよ。
Will it be worth it, Barn? Will it be worth it? With that question asked, I believe this is going to be the end of this episode of Let's Play ChäoS Head, and when we return, we shall see whether or not Momose will in fact divulge everything that she has on the current situation, whether she wants to or not. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.